I just watched a video that said, once a child has become an adult, parents no longer get to be the parent that they want to be to their child. They must be the parent that their child wants them to be to them. So let's talk about it. Most children are going no contact with their parents today for the simple fact that a lot of parents to gaslight their children into forgetting about how they were treated as a child. The podcast I just watched just said what was a regular Tuesday for you ended up being a day that I can never forget as a young adult. And it's the same day that I got to go to a therapist and speak about just to heal from. So what wasn't big to you because that was normal in your parenting routine became a trauma for me that I have to heal from as old. So simply put in my words, in today's time, the relationship has gone no contact. It's just a climax to a story of a narrative that parents created. Because again, remember, for some children, you were never allowed to speak up and to hold adults accountable for the things that they did wrong because that was deemed disrespectful. So you grew up to navigate through life being walked over, being mistreated, and being abused because those are the same patterns and the same things that were happening to you as a child, just by people who had no accountability.
This is going to be a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and it may ruffle some feathers. But I told you guys that I made this YouTube channel not to be famous, but to just get my thoughts off and talk about my journey. And I remember growing up, always wanting my father in my life. And I used to yearn for my father's love many years. I was so confused. And I used to think, what did I do to deserve to not have a father in my life? Because I remember I used to play sports. I used to play basketball. And I used to always see my teammate with their father. And it had me thinking, why my daddy can't do that? And I made a video a few months ago telling you guys that my mother brainwashed me into hating my father, right? Every opportunity she had to talk negative about my father, she took it. She didn't protect my innocence. She used me as an emotional punching bag. She didn't allow me to grow up and see my father for who he really is. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. The children will get old. They will figure it out, whether their father was a piece of shit or their mother was a piece of shit. But a lot of people don't want to talk about the type of issues that they deal with when growing up in the house with a narcissistic mother, right? I don't have no relationship with my mother right now. I wouldn't no contact with my mother. She's just not a good person. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to talk about their mothers because most of y'all might got great relationships with your mother. I understand that. Shout out to you. But a lot of us don't. A lot of our mothers are not good people. And when I spoke to my father, when I turned 27 years old, I'm 33 right now, I can just tell the disconnect, right? I forgave my father. I used to walk around with a lot of hatred toward this person that I never met because I was brainwashed into hating him. But shout out to my grandmother because that's who really raised me. That's my mother. And you guys know I hold my grandmother to the highest regard. That woman means so much to me because she was the balance, right? She was the balance between hatred and love. My mother was raising me on hatred, but my grandmother was raising me on love. She protected my innocence. She always told me, son, love your father, forgive your father. At the time, when I was just 15, 16, I didn't understand what my grandma was talking about at the moment. I'm forgive him. For what, grandma? He never been in my life. He was never there. But now I understand she was trying to protect my innocence. She understood like this the opportunity. I see my grandson going through something emotional, but I'm not finna dogpile on it so it can continue to traumatize him. I'm gonna protect his innocence by speaking life into him, loving on him, right? And that's what my mother didn't do. And that's why we don't no longer have a relationship no more, because I understood growing up that my mother didn't really like me for real. It's not nothing that I did to my mother. I ever disrespected my mother. I never put my hands on my mother. None of that. She just didn't like me because of my father, that I didn't choose to be my father. She chose to have children with this man. This man got about 16 children. He was having kids by other women while he was having children with my mother. So that should tell you everything you need to know about this man, right? But I don't hate him anymore. I decided to just forgive him And once I had a conversation with him, I just spoke my piece. I told him I don't want to talk negative about my mother. This ain't about that. I just want to know if we can build a relationship and we can move forward. We can just, I have no hatred towards you. And my life became so much better when I just released that hatred I had towards that man, because it was running deep, guys. I'm not gonna lie, my hatred towards my father, because I've been through so much as a child, and I was looking for my father to come save us. We was getting evicted out of every house. I'm like, damn, why my father not coming to save us? My grandma was there to save us every time we hit rock bottom. That's why that woman, man, when I say my grandmother is my everything, losing my grandmother tore me apart. 2013, when I lost my grandmother, and 2014 was one of the darkest moments in my life, because I thought I could never make it without my grandmother. That's how impactful she was in my life. And I put her and my TT at the highest regard, because those women, sometimes I think my grandmother is not even real. It's like she was an angel or something. And I used to be confused with my grandma because I was a child. Now that I'm an adult, I understand what my grandma is saying. But at the moment, I'm like, why my grandma taking his side for? She wasn't doing that. She was protecting me, right? She didn't want to feed into my hatred I had in my heart, because she spotted it out. Because I used to try to vent to my grandma. My dad, well, I wasn't cussing at her. I was just like, my dad ain't nothing. He ain't show up to my games. He ain't do all this. And every time she hit me back with just love and affection. Love your father, forgive your father. And it makes sense, because when I decided to forgive my father, and I told you guys, I was even talking about harming this man when I see him. That's how indoctrinated I was. And to the mothers out there, do not do that. Y'all don't know how much harm y'all doing. I get it, y'all in the moment, you feel like you got control because you got the children, and you talking negative about your children, about their father to your children. That is harming them, because I hated a person I never met. I was talking about crashing out about a person I never met. I met my father one time in my life. I've been with my mother my whole life, and I don't even talk to her anymore. And this just goes to show you, it's a lot of people out there that don't got relationships with their mothers. They not gonna talk about it, or they not gonna say it, but it's a trend online right now with a lot of people talking about going no contact with their parents, whether it's their mother or their father, because a lot of parents refuse to get held accountable. They think we owe them for life. I didn't ask to be here. I'm thankful to be here. Thank God, but I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be in this toxic situation with y'all two that didn't deserve to be parents. And that's why I tell you guys, a lot of y'all do not need to be having children. Or if you want to have children, make sure you got everything in place, in order, in a great environment, a healthy environment, so that your children don't have to endure the same things that you endured growing up. Because it's tough. It's hard to talk about, right? It's hard to speak about it. And a lot of y'all keep it bottled in because you don't want to be judged. I know I'm going to be judged by this video. I don't give a damn. This is my truth. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to appease you. I don't care about people's opinions about me. I'm just being my real self. That's why I'm able to go on this self-improvement journey with a clear mind and a clear focus, because I don't have no hatred towards nobody. I'm not looking for closure anymore. I'm not looking for nobody approval. I'm not having somebody in my life who really don't show me love or care about me. I'm just moving on. And that's what some of y'all got to do. You just got to move on. Sometimes closure is not healthy for you. You don't even really need closure for real. You just need to move along and put yourself first. Build your own family. Create your own peace. Create your own reality. Because a lot of us grew up with some traumatizing situations that we holding on to. And it's okay to talk about it, bro. Yes, people gonna judge you. People gonna criticize you because you talking about your mother or you talking about your family. So what? I don't give a damn. This is my life. This is my truth. And I'm going to continue to bring you guys raw and real videos, because a lot of us was brought up the same type of way, whether you know it or not. Most of us, all us the same. We all dealing with similar traumas, similar issues, the same thing, right? But I just want to say, man, when I let that go, my life became at peace. So I'm okay with not having my mother in my life. I'm okay right now with not having my father in my life. And I'm not trying to rekindle anything. I'm tired of the rekindle. I done tried to work it out, the talking. I know a lot of people say, well, you try to talk. No, bro, I'm tired of being the only, I'm begging for acceptance. I'm no longer begging for nobody to be in my life anymore. I don't care who you are. It is what it is. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video. Make sure you guys like this video, comment on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.